Another reality of the COVID-19 pandemic is how it's going to affect the draft. The draft is going forward. It doesn't matter what we or anyone else say. The draft is happening for a variety of reasons. Now, the challenge is, how do you make the selection process mesh with the requirements that are in place for 39 states and rising to stay at home, shelter in place, only leave your home for essential purposes? And Chris, one thing that I recognized last night with a nudge from somebody who was paying closer attention to it than I was, when the NFL says we're going to allow small gatherings of up to 10 for these mini war rooms for the draft, that's not going to fly in some of these states, if not all of these states, where the order is stay at home except for essential purposes. And those states would very likely say it's not essential for you to go get together in a group of 10. You can do it from home. You don't need to leave the house to go to some location to have your draft war room. And I don't know that the NFL is paying attention to that issue. And it may be that at the end of the day, the NFL has to backtrack on it and say, we can't do this because if we can't do it in every state that has a stay-at-home order, then it creates an unfair advantage for the teams that can do it. And I think ultimately there's a chance they're just going to pull the plug and say, sorry, you can't gather anywhere. You're going to have to do the draft entirely from home. Everybody's going to have to be at home. You cannot leave your house to go somewhere to get together with even a group of 2 or 3 people.
Well, first off, I mean, the states that don't have the stay-at-home order, like I want to just say, are it going to take 49 states for us to see this issue, and then the 50th state's finally going to go, we didn't do the stay-at-home order and everything exploded. Like, come on, America. What are we doing? Like, I don't understand it. All those spring breakers that were down in Florida, they have traveled back to their homes all over the country. So we got to worry about that too. But I'm with you. And then this is, again, an example, Mike, of where the NFL needs to be careful and they need to show leadership to society in these type of moments. And if we're still here at draft time and we're still in the kind of the current state we are right now where we're social distancing and not that many people are allowed to gather in one place, then they need to set the right example and not do that. Added to the fact, Mike, as you know, and you just said it, you don't need 10 people in the war room for the draft. I mean, at the end of the day, you need the owner, the GM, the head coach, the director of pro personnel, and maybe your head college scout. Everybody else, can call in or video conference, and I'm not even sure you need all 5 of those guys. You could probably just get away with the owner, the head coach, and the GM and have the other guys call in too. So that, to me, if that's where we're at that point, the NFL needs to be careful and make sure they do the right thing and how it looks and the optics and set a good example.
Well, how it looks is the key, Chris. You said the key words, how it looks, because it's not going to look as good if everyone is at home and it's all on Zoom or FaceTime and they're connecting that way, and that's what gets shown on TV. They still want to be able to show gatherings of Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones and Mike McCarthy, passing a phone around to the as they're talking to the guy that they make their first-round pick. They want it to look normal in that way. It's not going to look normal in that way, not if the NFL properly complies with the requirements of the states where the stay-at-home order is in place. And it sends a bad message to the rest of us if the NFL is going to try to twist and warp the rules to justify having these war rooms in the states with stay-at-home orders. We all should be complying to these rules to the letter. We shouldn't be leaving the home for any reason that truly isn't essential. And I have a feeling this one isn't over, and it's got 3 weeks to play out. I think by the time it's all said and done, everybody's going to be required to be at home for the draft. The coaches at home, the GMs at home, everyone at home.
Okay, well, what if they found some way to, test everybody, 2 days before the draft, and they kind of kept them quarantined in the facility if it was 4 or 5 people, and just say, hey, we've tested you, you're here, now you got to stay here, we're not letting you involve with society, and we'll see where it goes. I mean, could they pull something
Chris,
like that off?
You're going to have to take it up with 39 different states, or at least the 22 states where the NFL does business, and make sure that it doesn't violate the stay-at-home order to put those people in the same place. So there's a lot of elbow grease they're going to have to put in to make this work and make it mesh. And I don't know that issue's on their radar screen. Well, if it wasn't, it is now.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.